venue too far, any song at every bar, here to cover your needs. Twin Rivers Music Scene.
Hey y'all, this is the Twin Rivers Music Scene podcast with your host Madison
and Reed,
and welcome to episode 14. So we've been putting out a lot of episodes recently. We actually attended the Rodeo Austin barbecue cook-off 2 weekends ago, and so thank you for not being super annoyed of us as we were putting out all of these amazing episodes this week, but that was such a fun time. Again, thank you to the DKC cookers as well as Miles Smith for having us. We had a blast. It was the best time, and it was just really cool experience.
Yeah, it was a really great weekend. We got to interview like 4 to 5 artists and bands each day, so we were busy the whole time, but it was like a good, fun, busy. And so, yeah, the episodes we put out are really fun, so y'all should definitely listen to them.
Yes, and it was really cool. We got set up in a little RV. We got to basically camp out there too on site.
Yeah, we were right behind the stage. They hooked us up so well, and so it was fun to just be able to pop in and out with the artists, go and see their shows easily and take pictures, and then talk to them for a while all weekend. So
yeah, it was so much fun. I feel like it was way more laid back than our usual setup.
Yeah,
everybody was in a good mood. Everybody was laughing, drinking. So all around good time.
Yes.
And we're actually going to be this week and next week, we are attending the Rodeo Austin 100X dance hall tent. We're not going to be there every day, but we're going to be there a couple days that we can, not a couple, but a few days, just kind of briefly interview some of the artists out there and also take pictures as well.
Yeah, so we've had a great time being involved in Rodeo Austin. This is our first time going, and then also like being a part of it in the Twin Rivers way. So, and it's a lot of different artists, especially with a 100X tent, than we would have access to easily in New Braunfels. So it'll be cool to add variety. It's what we're doing.
Yes, and it's kind of cool about what's cool about the Rodeo Austin 100X tent is we're kind of dabbing into the Austin scene. So we're kind of growing. I mean, obviously our mission's always New Braunfels artists, but we do want to do in and around New Braunfels. So that considers Austin as well. So I'm really excited about that aspect. This weekend, we are going to be attending the T3R Music and Radio Awards. So if you're there, come find Reed and I.
In Dallas, right?
Yes, it's going to be at Texas Live. So we're going to be attending that, which we're both really excited about. I've been in the past. This is Reed's first time going.
Yes. I'm new to all the award shows this year because when we went to the TCMA Awards, you had been before too. And so that was fun. Or it's fun to keep adding on to these things that we're doing together. And it spans out. Like she said, of course, we're focusing more on New Braunfels, but it's great for us to meet and network with other people in the music industry and like the Texas scene too.
Exactly.
And a lot of them are from New Braunfels. I think Bree Bagwell and Bo Brumble and them are going to be there. So
yes, if you haven't listened to our Timberwild episode, Bo Brumble from Timberwild is actually going to be making an appearance at the awards, getting to sing his new single with Bree Bagwell. So that'll be a fun time. And then we have Cattle Country that's coming up.
Woohoo! We are Cattle Country's biggest fans. We went for the first time last year, and because that was the first year they had it. And we did the 1-day pass, and we just like made the most of it, and it was so fun. And we're gonna do that again. So we'll be there that weekend, and then also we'll just be doing some more Twin Rivers stuff around Cattle Country in the upcoming weeks too.
Yes. So that's the first weekend of April. I think it starts it's the second weekend. First weekend of April is Two Step In.
Yeah. And
then the second weekend is Cattle Country. The 10th. Sorry, my other work is calling me. And so yeah, that'll be a good time. And then they have theme nights.
Yeah.
So if you're going Thursday, it's Western Legends. Friday is Outlaws and Angels. And Saturday is Neon Cowboy.
Cool. So yeah, if y'all are going, that'll be fun to dress up according to those and then have fun.
Yes, and that's in Gonzales, Texas.
Yeah. So like Madison said, we're going to be busy going to like award shows the next couple of weeks, festivals, and then also the 100X tent at Austin or Rodeo Austin. So we're excited to show y'all everything that we have going on, both on the podcast and then also just on our social media sites with like the photos and reels and stuff that we're going to be putting out. So
Yes. And then we also just got done, which we haven't put it out there yet, but just another announcement. If any artist needs some promo, we just got to do some fun stuff with Kayla Jane and Drew Moreland.
And James McDonald, at Riley's. So we'll be putting that out soon too. But like she was saying, if you have any upcoming projects, music release, anything like that, we'd love to help out. And so reach out to us.
Yeah. So either text us, DM us, find us on the street, find us at Port House. We're Cowboys and Cadillacs now. Or Riley's, obviously.
The amount of times we've given Port House a shout out is crazy on here.
I know. I just got to keep doing it though, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, our next artist that we have on this episode, we're really excited for y'all to see and hear. Hayden Redwine, he's out of West Texas. He's a great artist who just put out his first album called Spade. Madison and I touched on that album release party that we got to go to of his a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. That was a really incredible opportunity. And he really gave us another incredible opportunity and let us record this episode with him at Continental Club in Austin, on Congress. So that was such a special place for us to be able to record this episode.
It really was. It was honestly huge.
Yeah.
I was trying not to geek out too much.
During South by Southwest too. We went in the morning on Thursday of South by Southwest.
That's also true. Another just iconic weekend. So all around, shout out to Hayden and obviously everybody at the Continental Club who let us film there, take up an hour.
Yeah.
Because a lot of legends have played there. So that was exciting.
Yeah.
And if you haven't heard of Hayden Redwine, look him up. He, like Reed said, just put out his new album, Spade. It's incredible. He's an incredible writer. He has this gritty, soulful voice. That's he's just a true cowboy that we just need a little bit in the Texas country scene.
For sure. He's what we've been missing.
Yeah, and we need him to stay. So go give him some love, give him a follow, and just stream all of his album. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, so y'all stick around. Our next episode with Hayden Redwine is about to start, and I'm Reed with Twin Rivers, and this is Madison.
Yours truly, and enjoy.
Yeah, see
Here
y'all.
we go. This next singer-songwriter from West Texas is recognized for his soulful melodies and heartfelt storytelling. His music draws inspiration from legendary songwriters such as Townes Van Zandt, Johnny Cash, Terry Allen, and Jackson Browne. With a style that seamlessly blends raw emotion and polished artistry, he has a unique talent for transforming life's highs and lows into unforgettable melodies. Last month in February, he released his debut album, Spade, which features 10 tracks, each with its own distinct identity. The album showcases his ability to weave personal experiences into his music, deeply resonating with listeners. This artist is steadily making a name for himself in the music industry, performing at various festivals and venues. His authentic storytelling and soulful performances have established him as a prominent artist in the Americana and country music scene. Twin Rivers welcomes Hayden Redwine to the podcast. Hey, Hayden.
Nicest thing anybody's ever said about me.
Oh my God, that means the world. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. How are y'all?
We're good.
Good. It's South by Southwest week in Austin right now, and thanks for bringing us to the Continental Club.
Oh, yeah.
We're so
It's
excited.
a good spot.
Yeah.
It's iconic.
Yes.
An iconic spot.
Yes.
Some of the greats have been up there.
Totally.
Including yourself. So.
Yeah, whatever.
So we first met Hayden a week or two ago at your album release party, and that was so fun. You had it at Allen's Boots for Spade, your new album.
Yes, that was a big time.
Yeah.
Big time. I wasn't expecting that turnout either, though. It was a shock, and the response and the reception for the album overall was just it took me back. I wasn't expecting it, so it was a special time.
Yeah, it was great to attend too. How did you feel about what's his name?
Bill Murray
Bill
showing
Murray.
up.
He was a hoot. He was a hoot. I didn't even know that he was gonna come, and I think my friend Janelle, she does a lot of stuff for them up there. She came down and told me, and I didn't know that he was up there. And after I saw the pictures later, he was trapped in a vortex of all of my personal friends.
Yeah.
And But it seemed like he had a good time, and then I walked back downstairs, and he threw me back up there and made me play more songs, and he was a good time.
Yeah.
I'm glad he had fun.
I love that. Yeah, we like looked behind us and he was like casually in the corner eating a taco, and we were like, wait a second, is
Yeah.
that Bill Murray?
Yeah, we were talking to Andy, and like mid-sentence, he's like, "Shut up! There's Bill Murray
Yeah.
right there. What the heck?"
Yeah.
But
Well, congrats on your album release party
you.
and your album. We'll get more into that later, but we had a blast, even
yeah.
though you didn't really invite us, but we were happy to be
Oh,
there.
shoot. It was such a taxing thing. I didn't know. I knew a few of the people there,
Yeah.
and but no, I was glad to meet y'all. I was glad y'all
Yeah.
came.
So, what's your relationship like with Allen's Boots and also Howdy?
So Allen's Boots, Howdy, I was just recently acquainted with a few months before the album release. But Allen's, when I first started coming to Austin to play, I think a friend of mine, rodeo friend of mine, was actually working with them, and he introduced me to Blake. And Blake liked my music, and he had me come play when they had a stage up there. I'd come in and play, and we just formed a friendship over that time, and then they started helping me get down the road, and they're just some of the most genuine people I've ever met, you know. And the more that I'd come down, you know, Blake and I would hang out, and we became closer, and anytime I needed something, or if I needed a place to crash somewhere, you know, he'd always make sure I was taken care of. And so it's really more of a friendship thing than a business partnership, I would say.
Yeah.
Sweet. I've heard a lot of good things about him over at Allen's Boots, and he
Yeah.
talks very highly of him as well.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Good people to know.
And it was the perfect backdrop, I feel like, for an album release party with all the boots in the background. Like, the setup y'all had was really unique and really
Yeah.
fun to be at.
Yeah, I think the stars of the show are those stuffed raccoons that they had,
Yeah.
the
Yes.
swamp poodles. Those make good spots for like pictures and everything.
For
you know?
sure.
And they
Good.
had a
Yeah.
squirrel smoking a
Yeah,
cigarette. So
they got lots of those.
speaking of legendary places, we're in another one. So Allen's Boots, Continental Club,
Mhm.
you know, all the good spots.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's super special for us to like be here to be able to interview as well. And so you used to have a residency here, correct? At
Yes, I
Continental
did.
Club. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so I guess it was last year. Cody Braun, he had reached out to me. Celeste, that's the manager here, who I've become real close with, she was wanting a band to fill the Tuesday slot before James McMurtry. Well, she called Cody. He couldn't do it because he had stuff with Reckless Kelly. So he called me and asked if I would want to do it, and he was going to recommend me to Celeste. So he did, and that it was one of those things where even if you wanted to think about saying no, you couldn't, you know. So I just said yes right off the bat. Didn't have a band together, didn't have anything. My ducks were not in a row. I was at the ranch when she called me. So I called some of my buddies that are a band here, the Ransom Brothers, and I was like, they were actually on tour. And I said, if you guys want to come be my backing band for these Tuesday residencies, it would be really cool. And they were like, yeah, just send us your stuff and we'll learn it. So we did, and I played that first residency here for the month, and then was expecting that to be it. And then Steve had asked Celeste if I would do another one, like back to back, and it's like, yeah, didn't say no either. So it was a lot of fun, and this is such a special place, and it's an honor to play up there, you know. So
I'm sure it never gets old.
no, and the crowds are always good. They listen. It's a listening crowd, you know. There's not people just. And if there are, somebody's going to tell them to shut up.
I was going to say, that's actually, it's probably, as a musician, there's a lot of bars and places that, you know, you're kind of considered background music in a sense, because everybody's yelling, everybody's getting drunk. But you're right, this is one of those places that people take it all in and actually listen and care about the artist and person that's up there.
Yes, ma'am.
So I kind of want to go back. How did you discover music as your passion to actually make it a full-time career?
It wasn't, honestly. I learned to play the guitar when I was 11. I had to beg my parents to get me a guitar. They didn't take me serious at all. And they finally bought me this little shitty Fender rip-off Stratocaster out of like a wholesale magazine. And I treated it like gold. I didn't know, you know, it was just a cheap guitar. But we didn't have internet, really, and YouTube wasn't a thing at the time. So my parents wouldn't give me lessons. I asked for guitar lessons, and they were like, no, figure it out, you know. So we had a TV in the living room. That was the only TV that had dish or satellite. So I'd record hours of Metal Mania, which was like 80s rock hair metal videos, and I'd sit in front of the TV and I'd just mash my fingers along the fretboard till I heard like the right notes, or I'd pause it and I'd watch, you know, their fingers on the screen and try to figure out how to make that sound happen. And eventually it started working. So I would just spend, anytime I wasn't working, I wasn't with him at the ranch or anything, like in that downtime, even late at night after they go to bed, I'd have the TV way down and I'd be trying to listen to learn these songs. And then a friend of mine, he actually started playing too, so we started playing like hair metal covers and 90s grunge. He was all into like 90s grunge and stuff, so I learned all of that. Never sang though. And but I rodeoed all throughout high school and stuff, so that was where my intentions were, like going to college. I went to college on a rodeo scholarship. And still brought my guitar, but I still wasn't singing. We were just playing and having fun, making shit up. And when the pandemic came around, I started singing a little bit. I didn't know that I even could sing that well. I just thought I sounded like shit. So, and you have your friends tell you, you know, friends will blow smoke up your ass and tell you, oh man, you're great. You know, they're totally filling you full of crap. So I didn't believe my friends. And then I want to say it was late 2020. They convinced me to go to a songwriter night, or it was actually an open mic night. And I played like a cover song there. And then I came back the next week and there was like more people. And then I hadn't written a song yet. Didn't even know if I could or how to structure one. And then I'd always kind of journaled when I was young, and that's something my dad did. Mm-hmm. So I started taking pieces of that, and I like structured my first little song together. And then I was going back to those songwriter nights, and every time there would just be more people and more people. And I still didn't feel like I had a foot in the door with that. I thought I was just doing it for fun. And then a guy out there started having me play around Big Spring, Midland, and Odessa, and I didn't even think about it. It just started snowballing into what it is now. I haven't really looked back.
How do you think growing up in West Texas, like, specifically shaped your music?
I think it did. That's the entirety of it.
Yeah.
Totally. And because a lot of the guys out there that I've listened to my whole life that were from out there, like Terry Allen and Joe Ely, they're from Lubbock, the Lubbock area, which when you're in West Texas, an hour is a hop and a skip, you know, to drive. That's not far. So those guys were giants out there to me. And my mom, she was a huge Joe Ely fan, and I've always been obsessed with Joe Ely since I was a little kid. And so they had always talked about how the geography shaped their songwriting and how they write and how they approach everything and just how you see the world, totally, because it's desolate out there. There's not the only place your imagination can go is just roaming, because there's nothing to really do. You got to make your own fun. You can kick a rock down the road or something, but you know, it's flat, and there's not. Terry Allen had talked about saying he just wanted to see what was over the horizon all the time, and that's a very true thing when you're out there, because you don't know, and you're always left wondering. And then when you do, you still go back to that place when you're writing, or I do at least.
Yeah. And also, like, your songwriting too, and we'll talk more about your album, but like listening to it, it's like a special kind of poetry that is different than anyone else that like we've listened to. And that probably is attributed to all the time that you have to think and imagine and just kind of like get into your own like emotions and yourself in that way. Yeah.
It is. It's a lot of sitting with yourself in the silence where you have to listen to yourself, you know, when you're doing that type of stuff. And I don't know, I try not to be too on the nose about it. And when I was writing some of these songs on the album, I was fresh off of my dad passing, and my family had already been through a lot before that. So that was the match to the powder barrel. And I think back on it now, and I was like, God, that was kind of dramatic to write like that. But at the time, you know, it was real. And that's where when I'm writing, I try to write from that standpoint all the time. If I haven't been through it, in any sense. I'm not good at fiction writing. I'd love to be. I'd love to be good at something like that because I think that's really cool. But if I haven't been through it or going through it currently, it's hard for me to do anything besides that.
Well, I think because you're not like fiction writing per se, that's why it comes across in such like a strong like message. Like it's so unique to you. Yeah. And I think that's what people crave for sure, because people can get the fiction writing anywhere where it's kind of generic, but listening to your music, it's very individual and it's very unique to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, originality for sure. Mm-hmm. So speaking of rodeo, how was that whole process? How was growing up like being a rodeo? What did you do?
I rode bulls.
Awesome. You know, I was in the rodeo too.
Were you?
I was a mountain busting champion of 2001.
Oh my God. I think
I
I was too.
Slide
How
that
old
in
are
there.
you? 20? What?
It was 2001. I was 5.
Yeah.
In San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, in San Antonio. I won, so.
Dang. You probably beat me.
There you go.
Look back on pictures, you might have been second place or something.
Yeah. No, I was probably dead last, crying.
It's funny, but that's cool that you went to college for it.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I didn't really make a great run at it. I got hurt quite a bit, and I always say I was just good enough to get by. But college was fun, and all my friends from rodeo are still, like the other night at the album release, a lot of those people that were there were friends of mine that I've had for well over a decade.
Mm-hmm.
They're rodeo ranch people, you know. And I've got musician friends, but those are the cats that usually show up whenever we have. If there's something fun to do and they don't have to be anywhere and there's beer to drink, they're probably going to show up. So.
What's the meanest bull you've ever ridden?
Oh God. I want to say maybe it was in like getting hurt, or just one that just flat out would run you over.
One that just sticks out to you and be like, I hated that bull, that one.
Like you got off and you were just like, damn, that was a wild ride.
Oh my God.
Wild 8 seconds.
Actually, I think it was a bull of Mitch Terrell's in Snyder one year. I was actually still in high school. I think it's one of the worst times I'd ever just gotten completely smoked, and I landed kind of out of control too, and my feet in there, and I took a little bit too much time getting up, and the bullfighters don't feel sorry for you if you don't get up, you know, and I took a little bit too much time, and I just got completely smoked down. I think a week later, like at Roby or one of the other little local amateur TCRA rodeos at that time, run my friend over not long after that. So, yeah.
You probably were like, Hossy.
Yeah.
All right, so getting into your album, Spade, it's incredible. I was listening to it the entire way down here, Undertow. I don't know what you put in that song, but I'm obsessed with it. It's very soulful and heartfelt. Can you tell us a little bit more about the album?
Yeah. Like I was saying earlier, it's just a lot of those songs were just a collection of, at the time, like I said, I had started playing a few shows, and my dad, he was a real old school, like, rodeo ranch guy. Like, he didn't even listen to music hardly. He'd listen to the Ag Report in the morning at 6 a.m.
I love
and
that.
then he'd turn the radio off, and we'd just listen to the air conditioner the rest of the day. Like, that was it. So when I started doing, started to play shows and stuff, he didn't take me serious about it. He just wanted me not to be late from playing out. Like, if we had to do something the next day, he didn't want to hear it. Mm-hmm. So I think my mom finally convinced him to come watch me at a place called the Settles in Big Spring. It's like a hotel from the 20s that they completely renovated and made it how it used to be. So I was playing over there, and he came, and there was a decent little crowd, and so it was kind of like his nod of approval. He was like, all right, you're fine. This is okay, I guess. And he got to see me play that one time, and then he ended up passing away like 2 weeks later. So that really sparked off, that was kind of my muse for writing a lot of those songs and stuff, and not all of them on the record, but a majority of them. And then the rest were, after that, we sold the cattle, and I didn't have any, I was working with my brother in the oil field for a little bit too, working under him, and I felt like I didn't have anything left to lose at that point. And him passing was a bittersweet thing, because looking back, it wasn't at the time, but looking back, it gave me the courage to just throw the towel in and just try to go at music. And I didn't look back after that. I just went on the road, and I'd play anywhere that I could, any place that I could. And so while that was all happening, I was still, you know, grieving that. And but I was on the road, and those songs were just coming out. So that's how most of them were written.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about your dad,
Yeah.
but I think that in a sense, like obviously perspective, grief takes time. I do
Right.
think, like you said, him being able to see you play and kind of give you that push and approval of what it is today in the album, I think is taking off. People are excited about it. People are resonating with it. So I think you should be really proud of yourself with that.
Yeah, I'm happy with it.
My favorite song on the album is The Wind. I was listening
Yeah.
to it all morning, and I like the line that says, like, how many people do you have to be before you finally be yourself?
Yeah.
And I think that's just, I don't know. There was a lot of like one-liners in there that I really resonated with, but that was my favorite song
Yeah.
for sure.
And that song was kind of supposed to be funny because I wrote that when Reckless Kelly was the first. So Cody, the reason, you know, that I got to play here, he asked me to come on the road and open some shows for him. So they let me come open acoustic for him, and I got to be on their bus with him. I didn't have to follow the bus. Like, I got to be on the road with Reckless for a month and a half, and I wasn't ready for – I thought I was ready, but show-wise, but I wasn't ready for what was going to happen after the shows.
Mhm.
And I had a lot of adventures with those guys in places that I never thought that I would. And we had I think we were in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and then went to Portland, Oregon or something. And I think that's where, because I actually ended up falling asleep with my head on like a pizza box. So like, I was like, I need to write something about that. I think it was in Coeur d'Alene.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was kind of written as a joke, but I wrote it while I was on the road with them.
Mm-hmm.
And but that was a song that I just kind of threw out there. I didn't think much about it, but people have liked that one, oddly enough.
Being on the road with Reckless Kelly, what is one thing that you think you've learned and taken with you from that experience?
Be on time.
You didn't learn that from your dad?
No, I already knew that. That's the thing. I already knew that. But yeah, their bus driver, Brooke, that guy doesn't play about bus call. And one time we were leaving. It was when we were leaving Portland, and I know Cody. This is a brag on Cody because this was very impressive. I had never been out in Portland, never been in the city. We get there that morning, and I step off the bus and I walk outside. Cody's smoking a cigarette, and we're like downwind from like, it's a really nice hotel across the street from us, and we're downwind from like a tent city.
Mm-hmm.
And the smell just hit me, and I start kind of coughing, and Cody's smoking a cigarette, just laughing and giggling at me. He's like, this idiot's never been anywhere in his life like this. And so I went to breakfast with Jay, and we came back, and I think we had an off day, so we went out that night, and or no, they did play because it was bus call. This is what made us late. We went out, and Cody gets on a Lime scooter, and we're walking back. Everybody's had a few drinks, and Cody just zips off on like a separate block from us, and we don't see him. And we get back to the bus, and we're cutting it close. It's 2 a.m. is bus call or whatever, and Brooke is waiting. And here comes Cody flying around the corner on a Lime scooter and hits it just the most perfect 10-foot slide. I don't know if he meant to do it or not, but he did, and he landed on his feet and got on the bus like nothing happened.
With style.
Yeah, with style.
That's
He's
amazing.
like, I will make it by 2
Yeah,
a.m.
he did.
What's one thing that you want people to take away from your album?
I hope that they can apply the things that I've gone through. In a sense, they can apply it to their own lives and find some solace in it. Hopefully, that's really all I'd want out of anything that I write. You know, that's the whole reason that I feel like I should do this to begin with. Is hopefully if it helps somebody else.
And how do you navigate the whole self-promotion side of the music scene? Like, do you enjoy that? Is that kind
No.
of like a nuisance?
I know
That's
I
a-
read somewhere that you don't like it. You don't like
I'm
it.
not, and you know, and it's not, and it's very much to a fault for me. It's not intentional, and it's not to sound like I'm being a jerk or anything like that. It's just that I truly don't like social media as much. It's the sad thing is it's a necessary evil when you're doing this, but I don't like it, and I don't like to pat myself on the back about things or hey, like not the big things coming guy. You don't want to be that guy, but
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Exciting things
Yeah.
coming. Working on a
eye
project.
emojis.
that's hard. I think one time when we were like, because the album took a lot longer than I thought, because we had just had, there was a lot of personal stuff going on too, so it put things behind. And I was talking with Jonathan. This was maybe like a couple months before it was out. He's like, we should probably, say something about it. And he sent me this picture that he took, and I just put soon on the caption. It was so cryptic and stupid, but
Everybody's like,
everybody
ooh, he's
was like,
mysterious.
Yeah.
They probably just thought I was an idiot.
No,
So,
the problem is people eat shit up like that,
yeah.
It's the mystery behind it all.
But
It is the mystery.
yeah, the self-promotion thing, and there's people that are so good at it, and it's made them successful with it, and they're great. I just don't have the gumption or the intelligence, so I'm kind of a cyber dumbass. So it's, I don't know, I'm learning, and I'm getting better about it, but it's hard to, for me, it's hard to do that.
Yeah.
Well, if you need help, we can help you out.
And I feel like the mystery behind it, though, if like you don't post that often, or you just do like kind of cryptic messages, like you said,
Yeah.
kind of gets people even more interested, I would say.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
It's
It's
like the
working in your favor, not
Yeah.
being a fan of it, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you can't put it all out there,
No, I don't like to overshare. I learned not to do that when I was young from a really old guy at the sale barn. Actually,
You're like,
he just told me just learn when to shut up. So I've applied that to my life.
So when you're not writing songs or performing, what are you doing? Ranching?
Well, not honestly. I said we don't have any cattle anymore. I still live out there at the place, and I tend to it. I've still got horses, and if somebody, like a friend, like I've got a friend that's actually a songwriter in Sterling City, and Zach McGinn, if you guys haven't heard of him, he's definitely worth listening to.
Look him
And
up.
he's just down the road from me, and he's been a big mentor to me in the music world too, but he also ranches. He helps run his family's place down there, and if I've got time off, I'll go help him, or just so I'm still doing something in it. But when you're not doing it every day, you start to you get rusty, and it sucks, because when you want to go help your friends and you feel like you're dragging, you're the weak link on that chain, and you're dragging behind. So, but I've still got friends that are nice enough to call me and just pretend that I'm doing all right.
Oh, that's
so,
good.
Yeah.
That's always
No,
fun.
it's fun.
Get back to your roots.
That's it. And just visiting with my family if I can, but most of the time I try to stay on the road or involved in that in any aspect. Music's kind of where I went both feet in the water, so I don't have a fallback.
You don't need one.
Can't get out.
Is all of your family still out in West Texas together?
Some of them. Most of them. I've got a brother that lives in Arlington, though, and then everybody else still lives in West Texas.
Cool.
Yeah.
What would you say has been one of your most memorable shows you've had so far?
I think my first show here was a good one. Because this is, like I said, I was just tickled to death to play here. But and then with McMurtry, I've been listening to him for a long time too, and that was really special. And then when I played Billy Bob's, I opened for Zach's band Dolly Shine. The first time I got to play there, that was really special too, because it's mainly been shows that I've done with people that I've considered heroes or friend, like a close friend, and the first time I opened for Reckless Kelly, like those shows mean a lot to me, still do. But I don't know, I've got to play a lot of cool places that I never thought I would, so it's hard to just single it down to one show. This place is special, though. I'm glad we're getting to do this here.
Yeah.
Me too. Thanks for setting that up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, going back to your brothers, is one of them Dakota?
Dakota.
Okay, I saw that did he help you write some songs?
Yeah, he did.
How was that?
He's great. He's like me. He's just meaner.
Is he older?
Yes.
I figured the older ones,
Yeah, he's mean. No, he's actually a great guy. He's just he can be mean, but no, he's so well read and truly one of the smartest people that I know, and incredible writer. He actually in high school he went to state UIL for ready writing, and really good writer. But he actually had started writing songs a little bit before me. Before I started, he would write things like that, and he'd send them over to me, like these ideas and lines. And it's good because we're, like I said, we're so similar in how we think and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to write with him because I've never written with anybody else before. I've never sat down with anyone and tried to write a song, and at some point I've been asked to a lot, but I've never made it come to fruition. But he and I are so close, it's easy, and it just flowed together. So
Yeah, that makes
I was
sense.
glad to have him be a part of it because he's been such a big part of my life anyways. So
Well, that's special.
What do you hope that people take away from your shows when they come see you live?
oh God, I just hope they don't go to jail.
That means it's
Tell
a
your
good time.
friends.
Yeah. No, I hope they have fun, and I hope they can take something with them that sticks out, and that maybe they can, like I said, same with the songs, that they can apply to their life. I want people to leave feeling good or bad, but not in a bad way. But
Like I resonated with that.
Yeah, like
Yes.
they felt it, and I've had that quite a bit, and I don't like seeing people. I like seeing people clap and have a good time, and then, the next 2 or 3 songs they might be like wiping their eyes or something. So, and it feels good to have them come up and tell you made me have a great time, and then you made me cry. So, that's special.
Yeah.
So I know social media, you don't like to share any upcoming projects, but do you have any? I know you just released an album, but any upcoming shows? I've seen that you've been included in some festivals that are coming up.
Yeah, we're doing the Dusty Vaquero Days in May, which is a good friend of mine, Jake Zelke. He's got a fun. Nobody really knows. They call him JB because it's JB on his book, because he wrote a book. It's cowboyed on all 7 continents. And he had this idea for doing a channel for like working cowboy rodeo musicians. And so 2 or 3 years ago he started it, and it's just snowballed into this really cool thing. And so back during the summer he was talking to me about making this thing a festival, and I was like, man, if you need anything, let me know. And he made it all happen on his own accord. Like
Good for him.
he had some help from his management and stuff, but that's going to be a really cool thing because it's all my friends, and I haven't been to a festival where, most of the time when you play, you might know 2 or 3 of the people, bands there, but, this is almost every single person I know and good friends. So I'm excited and I'm worried all at the same time.
And where is that at?
It's in Gillette, Wyoming.
Okay,
Oh,
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
And then do you see yourself collaborating with any other artists moving forward?
Oh yeah, that's kind of something that I'm working on right now with a couple friends of mine, and we've been in talks about it for a little bit, and hopefully that'll happen this year. And that maybe after this album, I was thought about just taking a break, but I think I'm gonna go back into it and maybe try to do like a little EP, but have a friend of mine on each song.
I love that idea. If you could pick one artist, who would you want to collaborate with? Like a dream artist.
Oh my God.
Dead or alive?
Yeah, dead or alive.
It would be, honest to God, either Terry Allen or Joe Ely, one of those two.
And why?
They're the shit.
I mean, there doesn't really need to be an
no,
explanation,
they're-
but
they mean so much to me, as like how I've molded myself and how I think and how I perceive everything, as far as music goes. And I've liked Joe Ely since I was 7 or 8 years old. So, but either one of those two would be cool.
good answers.
Okay, so we're going to wrap up your interview with a little speed round, like a little this or that kind of
Oh,
thing, just to
shit.
get to know you a little bit
It's easy.
more. And, okay, so are you ready?
Yeah.
You got to answer the first second it comes to your head.
Okay.
Okay, whiskey or beer?
Beer.
Okay, dive bar or music festival?
Dive bar.
Johnny Cash or Towns Van Zandt?
Towns.
Barbecue or Tex-Mex?
Barbecue.
Vinyl or digital streaming?
Vinyl.
Acoustic or full band?
Acoustic.
Wrangler or Levi?
Wrangler.
Okay, perfect.
That's
Those were great.
You're focused.
And then if you can tell everyone where to follow you on Instagram and also just any other social media sites you have.
I have a website now, thanks
Nice.
to the help of some friends. HaydenRedwine.com. Instagram is Hayden.Redwine. And I think Facebook is just Hayden Redwine. I think that's all. And I do have a TikTok, but I'm not very good at it. I don't even remember. I think it's also just Hayden Redwine.
Okay, nice. Well, thank you so much
Yeah,
for
thank y'all.
Yeah, thanks,
sitting
Hayden.
with us, and then also for inviting us to the Continental Club. This is
Of
amazing.
course.
Yeah,
You have to
it's
come
been a
back
pleasure.
again, and maybe we'll have a better time, and nobody will get kicked out.
Yeah, fingers crossed. One could only hope.
And then, sorry, last thing, you have a show for South by Southwest tonight. Where are you playing at?
It's tomorrow. It's
Tomorrow.
at Samstown Point.
Yes.
It's for Red Shahan's Caveman after party thing. So it's
Awesome.
that's gonna be a good time.
Fun.
Cool. Well, this episode will come out after that, but have a great time. And yeah, thank you again for having us
Thanks,
over
Hayden.
here.
And again, this has been the Twin Rivers Music Scene Podcast with your host, Madison,
And Reed.
and our guest, Hayden Redwine. Thanks.
Woo. Thanks.
No venue too far, any song at every bar. Here to cover your needs. Twin Rivers Music Scene.